Hey, what's going on? Todd Shaw with another episode of the Sawdust Dude. Cool deal. Thanks for watching. I guess you're watching this video because you got you got chair problems. Well, hey, stick around. I can help you out. Hey, speaking of helping each other out, listen, hook a brother up. Hey, throw me a like on this video and a subscribe. I just need a little encouragement, okay? Cool deal. Thanks for doing that. Awesome. Now let's get to work. So you got chair problems. This is a favorite chair, and usually for me, it's a friend or a family member. This belongs to a friend of mine. She's a realtor, and she's Italian, and so I'll probably get some good food out of this. So more than happy to help out. And one of the first things that you really need to do is kind of like reconstruct the crime scene. Do I have all my pieces and all my parts? So, with this chair, I can just kind of look through and like, okay, let's see here. Yep, this is a side, and that'll work. So that kind of goes there. And then this piece here is this cross member up this way. And then I've got the I've got the seat below, which has my little angle pieces. And a lot of this is mortise and tenon construction. Even though it's got these little pegs, that still would be considered a tenon, and all that kind of hooks up in the holes, which is the mortise part of it. So when you're looking at reconstructing your chair, make sure that you've got all your parts, make sure everything's there, and then kind of identify what's broken. Am I going to have to rebuild something? Is something just totally trashed? And you can always rebuild it, but like for this one, there is that piece that just fell. Oh, here it is. There's a little tear out right here, and so there's that piece there goes into that. But that can be repaired with a little a good prep. So hey, nothing's too far gone that we can't fix, and so let's just kind of prep everything out, and I'll carry you through that process. So one of the things that I really want to do, I kind of want to prep everything up so I can kind of get it back together. And I've got a chisel that I use, and I want to go around every little spot here. And really the old glue is kind of dried out, and so very carefully I'm just going to take a chisel, make sure that everything's smooth, and get chunks of old glue so the new glue will adhere properly and go around these little tenons right here real well. There's a big hunk of glue there. And so it's always good to have a chisel like this that you're not afraid to do stuff like this with. I don't want to cut into my wood, so you're just kind of like shaving. I'm just shaving off this old stuff. And I just use my finger, and if everything feels smooth and good, that goes real well. Alright, so I got two problem spots on this. Number one, I got this tear out, and they've got a little nail in there. And so I need to carefully get this part out without ripping it apart anymore. So I just got some needle nose pliers. And I'm an old dude, so I need my reading glasses. Now, once I have my glasses on, I understand that that's actually a staple. And so I'm just going to real carefully just try to work that out. And a lot of times I can take that staple and I'm going to rock it back and forth, and I'm just going to break it off. Stick that to a side. Look at my piece real carefully. And just do the best you can. Handy. Now, let's see what we got over here. That piece will go back in like that. Now, the good thing about this is that, the seat goes over. And so this piece will go back in here. And so most of this will be hidden where this is busted up. And I'll show you how we can fill in that piece right there. and make it look real good. And I'm gonna take my chisel, and some of this wood that's kind of out of place or bent, and so that I could get this piece in. It's like a puzzle. Yep. So I've got it where I know it looks like it's going to go in, and I don't want to pull it in and out, so I'm going to go ahead and take some glue. And I really recommend Titebond glue. Titebond, you got the original or 2 or 3. This is waterproof. It's interior, exterior. This is kind of overkill, but a Titebond 2 will probably be the best, but this will work fine. And I'll glue this up in here and just slather it real good. Take a brush, which is another Titebond product. I don't want to get it in my hole there where the mortise part. I'm just going to brush that in there like that. And now I'll take my piece, make sure it's good and clean. This can kind of slide in. I'll take my chisel and just kind of hammer it into place. That looks real good. Anytime you do a glue up, you really want to clamp it down for a little bit. And so I'm going to put a clamp on this, and so that'll dry up real well. I'm going to take this rubber piece on the finished side and just run my clamp in here like this. Then I can tighten this up. I don't need a ton of pressure on it. And I don't want to over tighten it so it digs into my wood. You can take a sacrificial piece of wood and stick on there, you know, something that's protected, or put a piece of felt in there. But I'm just going to snug this up so that'll sit up real well. I see I got some squeeze out, and that's when the glue starts oozing out. I just want to kind of wipe that off. Take it in here. I'm going to clean out that little tenon joint right there. Always keep a damp rag close by and just wipe it off. I don't want to get a bunch of water in there, and this is waterproof glue, but I don't want to smear glue everywhere. But I get that hole in there cleaned out real well. We'll take a screwdriver and run this down in here. There you go. Oh man, that looks good now. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. All right, guys, so I'm going to let that sit up for about 20 or 30 minutes. I've got that aside, and then I noticed one area over here where that wood has split. Now that's a problem. So what I want to do, I need to get glue down in there. Now here's a little tip and trick for you. Just some pine here. This is some lattice, and I'm basically, and you can take toothpicks, but in essence, that's what I'm doing here. I'm making my own toothpicks. I'm just breaking off some pieces like that. So these are going to act as shims. So I'm going to take that, just kind of spread that apart without totally breaking it, and so it stays open. Hopefully through different camera angles you can see this. Without breaking it, I don't want it to come apart, but I do want it to spread apart. I don't want it to come off. Now I'm going to take my Titebond glue, and I'm just going to squeeze it. Take my finger, really kind of press it in. Then I'm going to take my brush and really just try to force it in that hole as much as I can. Just split over here on the other side, and I'll do the same. Now, I just remove my pieces of wood. There's another gap. Just keep working with it, you know. Clamp that up. Just run a clamp right here, it'll be fine, and squeeze that in. And I know I got good pressure when I see the squeeze out, when I see glue oozing out. And that's what we want. There we go. See how that looks? That's good pressure there. Just wipe off the excess once again. But while we have it apart, just inspect every area real well, and so that you're ready to go. Recap here, reconstructed, making sure I have all the pieces, reconstructed the crime scene, got all my pieces, all my parts. Is anything too far gone, or do I have to make a new part? Just kind of looking around and just kind of prepping the surfaces and doing necessary repairs so that we can get ready to rebuild. Well, let's take about 20 minutes, let everything kind of the glue do its thing.
Hey, cool. So we got it looking good. Things are it's almost looking like a chair again. So we're just going to kind of dry fit, look at everything. I just want to make sure things are going to kind of go back in like they're supposed to. And so we'll just kind of get all this going like this. Make sure everything will line up. Let's give that a bump. Especially those spots that I repaired, you kind of want to be careful. So that's kind of like doing a dry fit, just kind of going around making sure things are looking good. And let's just go ahead, my damp towel. And so let's just go ahead and glue up these pieces really well. Make sure I got glue all over my mortise and my tenons. And you know which piece goes where. I want to put it together backwards. And just be real liberal with that glue. And just make sure all your surfaces are ready to go. And from here, and I'm just going to take some pressure. That piece goes there. And just apply pressure. Get that glue joint on there. And then just wipe off the excess. So that's looking good. Chair sitting over to the side, getting glued up. Just wait time for the glue to dry and then boom, put her back together. As it's drying though, you want to make sure you come back and check on it and see how I have that glue drip right there. Keep an eye on your glue now. Don't let that dry up. Just take a damp towel, wipe all that out. So anytime you do clamping up a project, you make sure you want to have sacrificial strips over here so you don't damage the finish. And I just take some painter's tape just to keep it stationary. And once again, about 20 minutes, 30 minutes of glue up time is adequate enough so that you can keep working on your project. Now we just have our little corner braces that we need to glue back in the spot. I check again to make sure there's some excess glue. Always keep a damp rag around, making sure that glue, you don't want to dry it on the surface. My glue all the right spots here. You'll make a mess, but that's okay. The way this tongue and groove is, this is an inside finish. I'll just take a rubber mallet. Make sure that's good and snug. But sometimes if you don't have one that fits right well, you might want to, let's try it out beforehand. Make sure it looks okay. Also, you can take these little quick grip clamps and just kind of take it in the corner here. So that'll keep pressure on it that way while it dries and sets up.
Hey, we're kind of wrapping up, getting down to the home stretch, and got our chair glued up, and it's just kind of sitting. And while it's just kind of last minute corner pieces here, let's look to see what we need to touch up. before we do that, hey, check out the other videos that I have. I've got one about how to turn a bar stool or bar stool chair into a regular chair. So check out that video as well. That may help you on this project. Kind of some crossover tips that may work out. So we're kind of going down to the final stage, and let's look at some touch-ups, because as you can tell, this thing came in about 3 pieces. Either there was young kids, a barroom fight, or you got a really big mother-in-law. So something happened to your chair. So let's look at some little touch-ups here. We got these little scuff marks. Say, check out this one right here. Let's do a little close-up. Yeah, you got that little white mark right there. How can we get rid of things like that? Start off with just a magic erase pad and just kind of go over that and see if that kind of fades it out. Sometimes you can't 100% get rid of it, but if you can get just so your eye does not pick it up, you can kind of hide it or mask it. So here I've got some like triple alt, and that's 3 zeros. I got some real fine steel wool, and I'm just gonna lightly rub that over. You see how that's starting to disappear? I don't want to remove the stained color, but I am removing the outside finish a little bit. So we'll just kind of remove that like that, and that's probably about the best that can be done. Make sure it's mixed up real well, but I take this polyacrylic, and so that kind of brings back the shine and brings back the finish on my chair. And this is a water-based product, and so you don't have a lot of odor and stuff inside your shop or inside your house if you're working on it. So that's just another way to kind of put back the finish on there. Just a little bit of time and some wood glue and some clamps, and really just a pretty simple project. Something that I know that you can do. So remember, just kind of look at the crime scene, identify the parts, are all the parts there? Do I have to make new ones, or can they be repaired? And then just do a glue up and do some simple touch-ups, and your chair is back in business. Hey, cool deal. Well, listen, thanks for watching another episode of The Sawdust Dude. Oh yeah, I'll see you real soon.